Hi, YouTube family. I am so happy to be joining you. Thank you for visiting my channel. Please hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. Like, comment, interact with other people. We are part of the IAmACreator community, so please interact with each other. Visit each other's pages and support each other. Tonight I'm going to be reading again, as I have been every Monday night, from my memoir, Can These Bones Live Again? Walking Through the Eyes of the Broken. The link to purchase the book is going to be below in the description. But before I get started, I want to share with you a couple things. First, I want to share some of the reviews that the book has been getting. And I've received these via social media. I haven't actually gone onto Amazon to see if anyone, because the book hadn't been out there that long. I don't know if there are any reviews there yet. I'll be checking that as soon as I get off of this broadcast. But I wanted to read to you a couple of the reviews that I've gotten. The first one says, Kim, I got my copy in the mail yesterday, started reading last night and couldn't put the book down. The descriptions of your adventures made me feel like I was there. I had to make myself put it down and go to bed. Really enjoying the read. Thanks, Kimberly Dixon. That's from SK in Durham, North Carolina. And the next one says, my word, this blessed my soul. Kim, I cried a couple of times reading this book. Goodness. I love the conversational style of writing. This review is from JG in Holly Springs, North Carolina. I wanted to read this particular one because this review is from a man. So just because you're a male, don't think that this book is not for you because it's written by a woman. This book is for anybody who's experienced any emotional, spiritual, or psychological pain. And for a male to be touched by it so much that he reached out to me through a messenger on Facebook to share this with me. So please, get the book. It's got the link to purchase it is in the description below. The next one and the last one that I'm going to read, it says, Kim! And it literally says Kim spelled out about that long. I started reading this morning and just finished it not 2 minutes ago. I literally haven't put the book down all day. I could not put it down. The transparency is amazing. I felt like I was right there with you as you were telling your stories. At times I was laughing, other times tears strolling down my face. I highly applaud you and hope and pray to someday have the wisdom that you possess. I thank God for allowing me the opportunity to read the things you have endured. I had no idea. You are most definitely blessed and highly favored. Continue to let your light shine brightly and testify to the goodness of God. Continue to be the angel that you are. I pray abundant blessings on you, on your continued success. I love you. And that's from TW in Walkertown, North Carolina. Tonight I'm going to be reading from chapter 3, and this chapter is basically my surgery history. However, don't discount this chapter. There are lots of great stories here and lots of insight to be shared. So let's get started. One more thing. Before I get started, I want to share with you. On Saturday, I had the opportunity to be honored as a 2018 TCP Magazine Woman of Triumph. And I was honored along with 12 other women. That was an incredibly humbling experience and just some really fascinating stories of trials, tribulation, and triumph. These women didn't take life lying down. And at the end of the ceremony, we were all presented with this beautiful framed certificate. And it reads, TCP Magazine 14th Anniversary. You don't know my story. This certificate is presented to Kimberly Dixon for persevering through adversity and being a role model for women. Your story is featured in the TCP Magazine's 2018 Anniversary Edition for all the world to see and live by your example. Peggy Tatum, publisher, March 10th, 2018. In the world ye shall have tribulations, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. So I'm going to start reading just a bit for you tonight. If I can get my tabs right. I thought I would die that night. I was sweating and just felt awful. I was afraid I was going to die. I prayed, Lord, please let me make it through the night. As soon as the sun came up, I took a shower. After the shower, I was so out of breath. I sat down on the bed. The next thing I knew, I was waking up. I realized I had passed out. That scared me so bad. I quickly dressed and got into my car. I put the car in reverse so fast that I ran up on the curb. I drove to the ER at Danbury Hospital. I drove super slow because I could barely hold my head up. I knew I had pneumonia. I thought I would go to the emergency room, get a prescription, and go home. I walked up to the nurse's window when I got to the emergency department. Panting, I told her I had a cold that I couldn't get rid of, and I felt really bad. I must have looked terrible. The nurse looked at me bewildered and asked, Honey, how did you get here? I drove, I said. She responded, Please don't drive when you feel that bad. You could pass out at any minute. She was right about that. I felt like I was going to pass out right then. I knew I was in trouble when I was taken into the back immediately. I still thought I was going home though, so I was all right. My world came crashing down when I was informed that my temperature was 105 and I was being admitted. My mind whirled. I screamed on the inside, I can't stay here. The next passage reads, Walking home every day was torture. My leg hurt horribly. Before I was 50 feet away from the school, I was in so much pain I could barely stand. I often stopped, but I tried to avoid looking ahead. That was only a reminder of how much further I had to go. I stopped every few feet. It seemed to let the pain in my leg settle down. It didn't work. Occasionally, the kids from the neighborhood walked with me. Whenever they did, they carried my books. I was always happy to see any of them walking in the same direction as me when school let out. By the time I got home, I was covered in sweat. I had long since stopped actually walking and simply drugged my leg. That thing hurt. Every day, I immediately went to lay on my bed and take a nap. That was the only way to stop the pain. I was always glad for the weekend to come. That meant 2 glorious days I didn't have to make that grueling walk home. My sister and I walked the neighborhood every day during the summer. We went to the library, to my cousin's house, to our grandmother's, or just strolled around the neighborhood. We were always together, and we were always walking. By the time school started back, I was able to walk without pain. And this is from another, passages from another surgery. Oh my God, the pain I felt was unreal. I hadn't taken any prescription pain medication all day. I didn't feel any pain because I had the remnants of anesthesia in me as well as a nerve block. I woke up at around 12 midnight in excruciating pain. What I imagined it would be like to have your leg amputated. I took a pain pill, but it wasn't helping at all. I rolled back and forth on the sofa. I now know to start taking pain meds before the nerve block actually wears off, because once it does, the pain is severe. Once pain that intense starts, it's hard to get it under control. Medical professionals call that chasing pain. That night, I was seriously chasing pain, and I was losing the game. By the time my cousin Tammy came downstairs to go to work the next day, I slept downstairs on the sofa that night. I could barely talk to her. The pain was so severe. She asked if I was okay. I could barely talk to her. She said, "Take 2 right now." I replied, "It's not time." She said, "I don't care. You need something now." I took 2 pain pills and went to sleep for the first time since I woke up at 12. Tammy went to work, but she called a friend of ours to come over. I hadn't prearranged any help because it was supposed to be a simple procedure. Prior to the surgery, I had planned to be out of work 3 days. It was an outpatient orthoscopic surgery. No big deal. I was out of work for 8 weeks because of the severity of the damage. The next passage reads, on Tuesday, March 27, 2010, I had my 6th surgery at Wake Med North in Raleigh, North Carolina. This surgery was to replace the damaged ACL that was discovered in 2007. My body mechanics and the way I move destroyed my ACL in the years between 2002 and 2007. In an ACL reconstruction surgery, the ACL is completely removed. Sometimes a tendon is taken from the patient's thigh and used as an ACL ligament. Sometimes an actual ACL is used from a donor. Mine was from a donor. I was a transplant recipient. People think of major organs when they hear the word transplant, but all types of donor tissue is used every day. I didn't think about my ACL and what it did until mine no longer functioned. I got a letter when we left the hospital that day to write the family of the person's tissue I received. It didn't provide their name, but identified them by a number. It still amazes me to know that I had the tissue of another human being inside of me. Being a transplant recipient is an incredibly humbling and completely amazing experience. In the next section, it reads, I was nervous sitting in the exam room. I was thinking, what if he says no? It was Monday, December the 1st, 2014. We exchanged pleasantries and shook hands when he entered the room. He said he looked at my x-rays and my knees were horrible. He asked me, what have you tried for arthritis pain? I replied, cortisone injections, visco supplementation, and compounding cream. You can see I wear a leg brace for my right leg. I can barely walk without it. I use this cane for my left, pointing to the cane leaning against the wall. I had weight loss surgery and lost 80 pounds. I pray, practice adaptive yoga, meditation, and deep breathing, all of which was true. I wasn't leaving anything out. I wanted him to know that I did everything I could possibly do. Before I knew it, tears began to roll down my face. I apologized for my tears and said, I can't do this any longer. I'm in so much pain. I cannot do this. My life is passing me by. I want to live. He said, you've done everything you could do. I will replace your knees. I just need you to do one thing. I need you to lose 20 pounds. I responded, I can't exercise. How am I going to do that? He replied, you can do it. I got a feeling you don't let anything stop you. I wanted to kiss him. The last passage I'm going to read from chapter 3 is about after I had my knee replacement surgery. Keisha went home Sunday afternoon after spending 6 days with me. She went over everything with me multiple times to ensure I could handle being alone. I told her I could handle it. The only problem I had was making coffee. I couldn't carry a coffee mug and hold onto a walker. Sunday before Keisha left, I took a nap. I went into the living room after my nap to discover Keisha had assembled a full coffee bar on my living room side table. The coffee bar had everything I needed. Coffee, tea, disposable cups, stevia, spoons, creamer, and bottled water. I was thrilled. I didn't have to give up my morning coffee. I loved my coffee bar. Every morning I enjoyed my coffee on the sofa. I smiled every time I thought about my best friend. She always takes care of me. And that is our reading for tonight. Again, I will be reading next Monday night at 8 p.m. as well. Live on Facebook. Is recorded for YouTube. And don't forget, you can purchase the book with the through the description in the below the video. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. And join us again next week and share this story of triumph with anybody that you know that may be going through a hard time. Because this book is not just necessarily about my experience with knee surgery and knee pain. It tells my story from a toddler until 47, essentially. Of course, it doesn't tell everything about my life, but it really hits on some major things and can really provide some relief from the pain that we feel sometimes growing up. Things happen to us when we're young children, when we're teenagers, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, at every phase of life, every stage of life. Things can happen to us that make us feel rejected, lost, hurt, and just like we laying face down in the mud. But this book is the story of somebody who laid down, face down in the mud for years and years, but was still able to get back up. And pick the book up. It's a great read. I gave you some of the reviews, and that's just a couple of them. I've been getting lots and lots of reviews via Facebook and Twitter mostly. But again, pick the book up. Can These Bones Live Again? Walking Through the Eyes of the Broken. It's my memoir. Guys, have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Love you.